you rack up a lot of money, and before the tax is due, everybody just retire and move offshore with a lot of cash in a sailboat. I think we're onto something. I think we're onto something here, but still, what is the key market to be able to rack up enough money to retire within a year and then just piss off with the money?
The sailboat reference is a dead giveaway that you've been thinking about this a bit too much.
Did I mention I used to live in a sailboat?
That's your exit plan. When Haavard buys a sailboat, then you know that shit's going down.
Yeah, what's your exit strategy? Sailboat, large quantities of money, questionable ethics business plan.
And then again, and you assume I would buy a sailboat. There's a lot of sailboats just spending most of the time dockside, and the people who own them, they don't have the time to use them, but they are insured. So you just bring your bag of money and then you just pick the biggest one and leave.
I like the look of this one.
Yeah,
this'll do.
Just to be clear that this is not financial or criminal advice, because that sounds like a really stupid idea.
All advice is offered as entertainment purposes only. The legal department would like to state.
Good. That's your job in the podcast field, the legal department.
Yeah, we established that in episode 1. You're our English and legal alibi.
Great. I'm so glad.
Welcome to episode 112 of the Make Crude Mistakes podcast, with Haavard from Behind the Mistakes, Phil from Phil Makes Things, and me, K.J. from Crude But Efficient. 112, not an emergency number, it is an emergency number, but this is not an emergency podcast.
Or is it, though? I just realized that we're not too far along 123, which is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's a good number as well.
That's a good number.
Do we need a celebration? Is that what you say?
Yeah. I mean, in Norway, we have a saying, if something is not going to take very much time, it's like easy, like in 1, 2, 3. That's how the saying goes. And outside of Oslo, exactly 123 kilometers, the National Road Authorities has put up a sign, and someone have a sense of humor. So it says Oslo, and someone has put in parentheses in 1, 2, 3. So it's basically you're getting closer.
So, what you been up to?
Can't say.
Okay, classified. So you've been start working for the government. I see. Yeah. Okay, Phil, what have you been up to?
Things.
Okay, this is going to be a short episode, I feel.
It's hard having a...
Tune in next week.
Yeah,
I think
we can't say anything then either.
Right.
So.
No.
You need something else to do, apparently.
Yeah. But I mean, it is... I've been working on a Christmas project. I finished it yesterday and realized I did a horrible mistake, which I can't tell you what is before Christmas. But the key takeaway is I've started on my year's Christmas gifts. And this is early. So I'm riding that wave like a kite. That it's, yeah. I still have a long list of gifts, so I'll probably procrastinate enough to be behind by the time the season arrives. But as of today, I'm ahead. I'm celebrating.
It sounds like you're going to kick back and relax and feel that, I'm ahead of the curve. And then just by magic, it's the 23rd of December.
Exactly. I'm at the local petrol station, especially buying gifts.
Uh-huh.
Tow rope, yes.
Wiper blades for you as well.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love an emergency triangle?
Well, you need to have them by law, so...
Do you? Over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I think over here, as long as the tyres have got some tread on them, that's about it.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Well, that depends on if you value your life. I mean, I know how you drive on that island of yours.
That's a question, though. I mean, if their cars are at the state of which Phil describes, and they drive like you insinuate, there should be some statistics on it per capita, of course. How many people die in traffic? Then we should compare.
I'm sure those statistics are available, but we'll have to wait to the half pint
At least.
before we start Googling things.
Yeah, that needs some serious googling.
Exactly. But, I think at 11 minutes, we're not quite ready to go there, yet, are we?
That's a bit.
Yeah, no, I've chopped up some more wood, and I've raided the scrap pile for the very best and finest offcuts of plywood that I can find without moving too much stuff. Yeah, and that's all I can really say at this point, other than files have been delivered to my tame art technician to start cutting things up on the laser cutter again.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, everything's got to be sort of shrouded in this veil of secrecy for the time being.
What I take for this is then you have entered the SCRAPWOOD challenge in the attempt of winning those sanding discs for a second time. Gambling that's a charm.
Absolutely, it's a double or quit style situation.
Oh yeah, that sounds.
No, I mean, I'm not even sure when. I'm not sure when that because it's a main one, isn't it? It's the big one. Is that the end of November?
I think so.
I'm not sure. I've never entered the big one because it's always like, well, I'm sort of stuck doing other things for Christmas, which will need to be finished after that. So, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. An impossible situation.
Yeah. Well, I did enter, not last year, I think, but the year before that, as a joke, because of course we are not eligible, or we could join, of course, but we couldn't get any prizes even if we did a decent job of it. Not that turns out to have been an issue for me. I wouldn't have been on the top 3 anyway.
Me neither.
But still, so this year I'm not gonna do it, and I've realized something that I have too much projects on my list, and I've been looking at some of them, and I'm not sure if it's the seasonal depression coming on extra hard or whatever, but I can't be bothered doing half of them. So I picked one, maybe 2. That's going to be like, I'm going to just focus on these 2 this winter. And that is going to be my low. I'm going to set the bar really low. And one of them is, if you have a workshop, I have the thought that you should need a workshop radio. Yeah. Now, of course, we talked about this earlier. In Norway, they shut on the FM network and sold all the equipment. So now we just have useless DAB radio channels. So I'm not going to listen to radio, but podcasts and whatnot. So it needs to be more like an internet radio podcast player than a traditional radio. So I'm thinking I have some old radios that I really like the aesthetics and design of. I bought 2 of them because they were giving them away at an online marketplace. So I have all the knobs and the hardware. So this is just, of course, this is a 70s style. So it has aluminum, blue glass, and wood, teak, or some other veneer. So it has everything that I enjoy in high fidelity audio equipment. I mean, aluminium, blue tinted glass, and wood. So I just need to apply some woodworking and steal some of the parts to make it look like that aesthetic I like, and I just need to find something stuff in it to make sound, and that shouldn't be too hard. Famous last words, but yeah.
That depends on how much money you're willing to pay.
No, that sounds brilliant. I love that 70s hi-fi look. It's great.
I think I would go even earlier than 70s.
Well, that sort of era, when stuff was good.
Yeah.
There is a video which I will find later by, I can never get the guy's name right, and I will think of it and I will find it, where he has a radiogram similar to sort of that sort of thing, and he stuffs an Alexa inside it, so it's voice controlled.
Oh yeah.
And connected to the internet, but it looks just like a 1970s stacking system, aluminium and teak, and it lights up.
Yeah.
I'll find it shortly. I'll make a note of that.
On the note of not spending too much money, I'm not sure if I'm able to keep to that. But what I really love about the old radios that I have, and I have one that my father got restored, so I'm not going to botch that one, but I remember that one as a kid, because what interested me was the AM band, because behind that blue glass you had like the dial that moved, and instead of the frequencies, it just had all the cities, because you also had this famous Radio Luxembourg, Radio Moscow, and they had their separate frequencies, and that was imprinted in this backdrop. So you switching channels, couldn't understand half of it, but it was interesting because I could reference the names of the cities. So you were just listening into the world. So I would like to mimic that. So I'm thinking, if I'm not going the radio route, then why don't put a screen behind there? So now I'm looking into various sites to see if I can find a LCD screen that is very wide and narrow. And there are quite a few of them, but I also want them with the connection, the connectors on the back side, not on the side, so that I can really enclose them very tightly with the hardware from that retro style radio, because then you can basically, as long as you have a small like USB size computer behind there, you can basically make it do whatever, and it should be future proof. So if some system falls out of favor and something new comes, as long as you have the hardware power, you can just install that and configure it to play that instead. But yeah, sometimes it's some of these screens that are suitable are not the cheapest ones. So we'll see. And then you need an amplifier, and then you realize everything else that you also need, and so it might be the Hellcore all over again.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit like a project I abandoned a couple of years ago. I got this brilliant old a little JVC portable field monitor that we would use in filming. You could run it off batteries. I didn't have a battery, and I looked at getting a replacement battery, and these things are ancient NiCad batteries, which even if you could find them, they were ridiculously expensive, but you could also run it off the mains.
Yeah.
And I had an idea of, because the battery compartment was huge but empty, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to get a little Raspberry Pi or something, stuff it in the battery compartment, and then just have this thing sat on a shelf, like constantly broadcasting the live feed from the International Space Station.
Oh yeah, cool.
But unfortunately, because this was a tiny little CRT, it was an analog input only. And when I started looking into the cost of converting a digital signal via BNC, which was the only connectors on this thing, it started getting very expensive very quickly. So I thought, I like this idea, and maybe one day I'll come back to it, but not today. And eventually I ended up giving it away to someone who was really into vintage TVs, and they were very happy with it.
I mean, that sounds a bit like, is it Joel Creates? Yeah, Joel Creates
Yeah.
latest video. Build a CRT mobile docking station for his Switch 2.
Amazing.
I gutted an old mini TV and put in like an HDMI to VGA to an analog signal to actually power it, and make custom buttons fitting on. It looks mental, and it took a lot and lots and lots of work to get it to function.
That's a thing that I can't say I regret it because I wasn't a part of the decision, but and no, I'm not talking about being born. um, in my father's old office, he rented this one, and the previous company they left some equipment. I think they went bankrupt, and this was equipment that nobody wants to buy, and that was. You know these garbage trolleys, the two wheels and the handles, and you put a garbage bin bag or whatever on it. Yeah, it was something looking like that, and on that it was strapped an infrared camera. And remember, this was early 90s, so the equipment was probably from the 80s. And to that camera, it was a CRT screen, a small one, and also a VCR recorder, very small, very compact, portable. And they used this one to locate cables and piping in huge industrial buildings. And of course, to be able to do that, they also had a huge tank with liquid nitrogen. And of course, I was too young, but my dad showed what you could do with it, like freezing things and breaking it into 1,000 pieces. But I weren't allowed to play with it, understandably. Well, what we did, we stole. I mean, we lent the VCR recorder, and we brought that home. And I wish we did the same with that small CRT, because if that were just laying around somewhere, that would be cool for a project now, because the form factor of it was extremely small for that time, which just indicates it was a very expensive equipment. And we had that as a VCR player for years. And of course, being an industrial equipment, it had all the outputs. I mean, not HDMI and so on, that wasn't invented at that time, but it had everything that makes it compatible with decent equipment today without too much converters and stuff. So it could probably do a lot of cool things with that. But yeah, God knows where that ended up. Probably the skip.
Yeah, I was just thinking just today about CRT displays because, very long story short, I found a video cassette at work, which was a promotional video for the organisation that I work for. It was undated, but I think, looking at it, it's probably from the late 90s or maybe 2000, maybe 2001. Because in the promotional video, they speak about things which, well, they speak about the campus that I work at, which, is coming soon. And I know that opened, it was built in 2004, opened in 2005.
Yeah.
And just looking at this thing, you think, I don't think this is that long ago. But you look at the technology being flaunted as the very latest in. There's these huge beige desktop computers and the original iMacs and people working at edit stations, which is entirely tape based and with little CRT screens. And I remember those old edit suites and just how many fantastic high end sort of like Sony CRT monitors, like Trinitron monitors, color accurate monitors that we all just threw in a skip and had a great fun watching them explode.
Yeah, because that's what you did. You threw rocks at the backside of them to get them to implode.
Yeah. And now it's like, I really want one of those. I wish I hadn't thrown away hundreds of them.
And that's and exactly that's the thing. I wish I took better care of my old computer. I mean, what I remember as the top of my gaming career and computer wise was my 486. And the aesthetics of the cabinet I really like. So I have been searching online marketplaces, and you can get working computers from that area, but they're ridiculously expensive. But still, I haven't found one with the design, and it doesn't need to work. It would be cool if I could get a working one at a decent price, but then again, I wouldn't want to destroy it. But if I could just find that cabinet, because it was large enough that you can fit any modern computer in there. And of course, now I have a 3D printer, so making an adapter between the fastening holes for the motherboard in that old cabinet to fit the new motherboard that's just an evening of 3D printing. So that would be really cool, having this old computer with the turbo button and everything and old style LEDs, and it's now beige instead of white because the sun has done its toll to it. But it would be state of the art inside. I've seen people do that with old Apple computers, but those are also becoming collectible items, so they're very expensive. But I mean, getting that old PC cabinet and then get an old CRT screen. This could be my workshop computer, and you just remove the screen and put a flat screen in between, and then you have lots of room in the monitor cabinet to put storage and USB connectors and whatnot hidden in behind there. So that would be a sweet setup.
If it's going to be a workshop computer, you've got to have the clackety keyboard, but with the rubber like key protector over the top of it, so you don't get all the dust in there.
I forgot about that rubbery condom for the key. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, you got to have it
so the oily fingers don't leave in the prints. Yeah,
exactly. You go to the tire shop and they're sort of like tapping the thing. The tire shop I go to, they've got that same setup. I think it's been there for 40 years.
Yeah,
and when you get an invoice, it comes off like a dot matrix tear off sheet job.
And they only use the up and down key and the enter. So of course, in that rubber thing, it's worn down to some holes there. So you're actually touching the actual keys underneath it. Yeah. That was cool, though. I remember kids today, they don't remember screensavers and
line toasters.
And they served their function, but I remember getting some screens from the local dentist. I mean, if you had a lot of software that was running for long times, that burned into the screen. So when you turn it off, you can still see the frames of the software you use the most. And that is a bit of a scary realization, because if I now turn off my phone so it's just a black screen, I can see in the screen the buttons for home and going back, because a lot of the various apps, they have the same functionality at the same location on the screen. So that is actually imprinted on the screen, and that either it's a sign I'm using some software too much or my phone is too old.
Or you don't wipe your phone often enough.
Oh crap.
Is this just your grubby fingerprints all over it, or is it behind the screen?
But I do have
a little bio weapon that you carry around with you.
Again, of course, this being an audio podcast, here is I got some rubber protection on my phone, not on the screen, obviously, but this is the second one I bought for this phone. I don't think you can get covers for it anymore, but I'm one of those that I like to keep my phones for as long as possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a hassle to get to start using a new phone. I don't like it. It's like changing a computer. It's too much of a hassle to set up.
Yeah,
I've got to get a new phone every year. So I'm like, why do you want that hassle?
Yeah. And the price. I mean,
okay, no, yes.
I mean, I bought that phone and it was a decent phone because I was going to use it for filming and editing. So I paid like £400 for it many years ago. But if I'm going to buy one for the same purpose today, just spec for today, that's like 1,500-1,600 pounds. I'm not paying that for a phone. That's never going to happen. So it's better last for 10 more years.
I mean, it's kind of a game trying to make it last as long as possible.
Yeah.
Who is more stubborn, you or the phone? I mean, that's like the tablet I use to read. I mean, nowadays I got a tablet, but because that was it was kind of a mistake, because I was going to buy a tablet for the kids, but I accidentally got the wrong one. They gave me 9-inch instead of a 7-inch or something like that. So it wouldn't have worked, because the kids would be angry that the one had a bigger one than the others. So okay, we got this one over. Okay, I use it, and I started using it for stuff, but it got old really quick because it was a cheap one, because you buy cheap ones for the kids. So now it's probably like 5 years old or something like that, and the only thing I can do on it is read the morning papers, because I have that app, and watch YouTube, and everything else is turned off, cleared cache, uninstalled as much as it can, because it can't handle anything else than that.
I did the same. It's in the wall of my workshop. And yesterday, when I finished the secret Christmas project, and I failed miserably, I needed to check a user manual. So I thought, my phone is in my living room, but I have this pad. I can go online. And I struggled getting the supplier's webpage up to find the manual. And like, after a couple of minutes, like, fuck this, I'm going to get my phone, and I ran upstairs. So it is barely humping along watching YouTube videos, and the load time of the apps is and some of them it won't even install the updated apps because it's too old.
Yeah.
But still, when I press the button, it turns on and it keeps power and whatnot. So I'm not going to throw it away, but it is useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my mum and dad's old ancient tablet. It's got to be 10 years old now. I think it runs Android version 4 was the last version that it could run. I did an experiment of trying to turn it into an e-reader, and it kind of works, but the screen is so low resolution. It's actually just horrible to look at. So it's like, do you know what? I think I just prefer paper books.
Yeah.
My other half's got a Kindle, and she absolutely loves it. But I can't do reading off screens. I like paper books with ink.
No, I get, when I try to read from a screen, I go into search mode, because I'm trying to find some specific information in some kind of manual or something. So if I try to read a book, I'm skipping pages, and that's not a way to read a book. So yeah, I can't do screens.
War and Peace skips the end. I don't
know. War, peace, done.
Yeah, and then it's Alt F search. Who was that again? And you jump back, and all right. Ooh, the Everglades. Where's that? And you pop up a Google search, and oh, that looks nice. And ooh, yeah, we should go on holiday soon. And then you're into a rabbit hole, and books need to be in paper and very much offline.
Exactly. It's a slow practice to be performed slowly.
Yeah, it's like, you do it for enjoyment. It's like, having a beer. You don't need to chug it down. You're supposed to enjoy every sip of it.
Yeah. Back in the good old days, when I was a younger man.
5 minutes ago.
5 minutes and 20 years. You go to a pub, and I'd be that annoying person that would have a pint of beer, and it would last an hour, and everybody else would be on their sort of third drink by this point. So I'm like, "You going around?" And when I finish this one, yeah, sure. Yeah.
You're totally demolishing the round system you have over there.
Yeah, and it is. I take myself in doing that when you are at social events and you have a beer. And yeah, I drink it slowly so people come around. All right, do you need another one? No, I still have this one. And sometimes I might even say I still have when it's empty because I can't be bothered with a new one. If I don't like the beer or something, if I just want to go home, and
Yeah.
there is no point in going home and being too tipsy. So yeah, I'm just waving it. Oh yeah, I'm all set, and then it's been empty for 2 hours. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll get the next one in. But rather than heading to the bar, you just head to the door.
Exactly. Yeah, that's nice. I'll pop in the back and see if I can't find a cold one, and then you just leave. That's a perfect evening there. Yeah.
Oh God, we are antisocial.
It was my every intention to go to the bar, but I tripped and fell straight out the front door and into the car. And well, I'm at home now.
But I remember that is. I mean, it's frowned upon now, but in uni, it's like you had like a pre-party, and the intention was we were going to that place afterwards, and then during the course of the evening, people just left because they got a text message from someone and they wanted to try and pick up someone. So yeah, I'm just heading over there. I'll see you guys later. And then sometimes they came back, sometimes they didn't, and you didn't think much of it. People came, people left. It was a good night. So, but of course, nobody would notice if you just left and went home, and which I usually did more than ever. And then, but if you do that today, like, where is Haavard? Like, he just left. Why? Then it turns out he just went home.
Why? Why wouldn't you?
Turns out he likes his life.
Yeah. Spend a lot of money buying this house and keeping it into shape and filling it with stuff I like, and then you want me to leave? That's being
Sounds
uncomfortable in someone else's house. It's with stuff that isn't mine, and I'm afraid to touch. And no, I want to stay at home.
Oh, that sounds like a really good evening, but unfortunately, I'm shampooing my cushion covers that evening, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's on the schedule. I can't interrupt the schedule. I'm on a tight ship round here.
Yeah, that's the things that mean something completely different. Like, I would love to. No. I'll see if I can't fit it into the schedule. No. Like, that sounds like fun. No.
I mean, it's all about prioritizing. Sure, I would love to go to that party, but I would love even more to stay at home. So it's just simple triage thinking of what's the most important part. Life is short and home is comfortable.
You know, I saw a reel. I think it was a lady who said that being comfortable in your own company and being comfortable at home is very hard to compete about. It wasn't that she wasn't social, but very often she would rather just be at home because that was better. So instead of people having to compete with other people for her to be like attending some event, they had to compete with the coziness and her comfort with herself without any other people present. And that's a hard fight. I mean, that's if you're really gonna have to be interesting or propose something really fun to overcome that. And I really felt that it's it needs to be something special for me to find it better than my own company, my own workshop with the people I chose to live with.
Yeah.
So when I'm going somewhere, it's usually because
You're forced to.
the people I live with, they go places and they want me to join every once in a while. And I'm not doing it because I like going there and meeting those people. I'm doing it because the people I like to hang with just we're going away. Come with us, okay?
I was going to say, I just want to clarify that statement. These in air quotes for all the people watching at home, these people that you live with. I'm assuming this is your family.
Yes, very much so.
Forcing you against your will to go and be social.
Yeah.
And I read an interesting article just today whilst I was spinning on my chair at work. I mean, working very hard at work. About how only children are much more comfortable, like, by themselves because, child psychology, I guess. And they have no need to sort of compete and no need to be social. They're very good at entertaining themselves and quite happily just sit in the quiet with their own thoughts, etc., etc. And I thought, yeah, that sounds very true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually,
sounds like me.
But I mean, I would like to specify something here. If some of our listeners are the people that I have visited, once I go out of my comfortable realm with the people I live with, then I very often enjoy myself. Of course, coming back home again is the peak. I mean, nothing beats coming back home, no matter what you. I mean, it could be a merry-go-round with raining golden coins and pirate show and free rum and whatnot, but it would still be better when you come back home. So it's not you, it's me, and I've learned to live with it. So yeah, don't be offended.
But I mean, sometimes you need to. I mean, you need to go away to miss being at home. So if you want the home feeling to be at this peak, then you need to go away at times just so you can remember how nice it is to get home.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm a simple soul, so if I think our mailbox is like 50 yards from the house, and I feel better going back from that than to it. So I mean, it doesn't need to be for long or far. I mean, it's enough going outside, and yeah, I'm ready to go home now. Yeah, it's good being home, coming inside, and
the legal department would like to once again reiterate that all situations and scenarios are provided for entertainment purposes only.
exactly, and might not be rooted into reality more than for entertainment purposes. Exactly.
But we're not telling where that line actually goes.
No, that's the secret that makes it entertainment.
Mm.
So the question is then, have you been doing any making, KJ?
I was wondering if you're going to ask.
Yeah, for 43 minutes in, it's a bit of a detour, but
And now it's your turn.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we had autumn vacation last week, so the kids were off school. So we went away and visited a military air surveillance museum and an old coastal protection base, both from the Cold War era, which was rather fun. And since, I mean, we haven't had any wars in Sweden for the last over 200 years. So, I mean, this was rather nice to have an air museum that's only about surveillance. Yeah, we fly out on planes and then we take really advanced pictures at stuff. We fly as close to Russia as we dare and takes lots and lots of pictures. That's what I mean. That was basically it. That what they were doing.
Smile.
Yeah, kind of like that. It was that coastal protection base about an old bunker stuff built into the mountain with 3 big cannons. Rather big cannons, I feel, just for shooting stuff far away. That was rather neat to see as well. Since the youngest is very much into war history stuff. It's good to show some Swedish stuff as well, and not just the international stuff.
It's good that you are focusing on that part, and hopefully you are better at it than us. I mean, we have in the vicinity of Oslo city, there is the secret NATO base. So it's not on any map or anything. But the communal bus company, they put up a bus stop and they give the bus stop names for the area around the bus stop. And this is just called the NATO bus stop with a sign and everything. So it might be secret or not on any map, but if you want to find it, you can just take the number 7 bus, 3 stops, and you're there. You don't need a big lens and spy aircraft. You can just take
single to the bunker, please drive.
Exactly.
But seeing that old military installation, I finally found what I would be doing in the wartime, because I mean I'm a pacifist and I wouldn't feel good at actually doing war. But what they had there were fake cannon installations, which sounded amazing to build. Because I mean you had your proper cannons, and then they had fake ones at a bit away that were not as well hidden as the other ones, and they were just built out of, I mean, it was like the cannon tubes were more or less drain pipes, like 1 millimeter thick or something like that. And building semi-good installations, that would be really, really fun, I feel.
Yeah, the number one prop brigade.
Yes.
That sounds like a good. I mean, yeah, we need someone to build 15 fake, from a distance, good-looking tanks. Here is a free-for-all card at the local hardware store. Go.
Yeah, we found 5 really good places to build bases. We're going to use 2 of them. On the other 3, go and build something that looks decent enough. That would have fitted me perfectly, I feel.
Go and build something which looks enticing to a bomber crew.
And then run like hell if you hear airplanes.
I think that is sad, though, because today I see when the army or the Secret Service or whatnot are applying for people, it's always IT, cybersecurity. It's not the good old spy stuff, right? So, I mean, in the good old days, you had the huge, like, glass walls where you just wrote with a magic marker on them to indicate here's the enemy, here's us, and you had like these shuffleboard kind of sticks that you use to move pawns, like a pewter soldiers around a big table. That was the era I feel would be good. And of course, I think it was at some times when they got the early satellite imagery that wasn't really that good, but I mean, they were starting to using it, and then I think the army just, we know when the satellite is passing us, so then we move the cars over to that hangar, so they think that's where the activity is, and it like these old kind of decoy, and they built fake airplanes, and sometimes they just built small airplane models of some futuristic looking shape, and I put it on a stick that was like 15 meter high, so when the sun hit it, it cast a shadow on the ground. It looks like a huge ass, like Delta Wing aircraft that nobody has ever seen. And then the Russian satellite came over and took a picture. And oh my God, they left this experimental aircraft outside. What the fuck is this? And it's just someone putting up a cardboard box on a stick. That's the kind of like a CIA guerrilla warfare I would like to be involved in, not sitting with a computer.
No artistic expression in modern warfare, is there?
No, exactly. That's
it's just building drones. It feels like.
I know there's no one, in long coats and a Homburg hat, sitting on a park bench saying, the ducks fly to Moscow at noon.
Yeah, there is no aesthetics anymore in international boring, espionage. That's
I know. It's all boring, isn't it? It's a civil servant sat at computers. Man, that looks interesting.
And one of the things I'm very thankful of is being born at a time where people did not have cameras in their pocket at any given time, because my father had one of those trench coats, and at the age of 15 I thought that was a fashion statement, so I used that. And thinking back of it and talking to some of my classmates at reunion now, they remember me wearing this trench coat, and sometimes I use rollerblades to school. So I was thinking back about it. It's a bit cringeworthy, but it's funny when there is no evidence. So it's just
that's
the pictures.
Very Prayer of the Rollerboys outlook,
yes,
isn't it?
Very much so.
Trench coats and rollerblades. Wow.
I would pay money for that. So find a picture and put it on your Patreon.
Yeah. And that being said, a huge rollerblade fan in the early 90s. And yes, of course, that movement was kicked off by Prayer of the Rollerboys. Brilliant movie for a 12-year-old that did not get the racial problematic of that movie. So for me, it was just an awesome movie about people liking to rollerblade, and there was some fighting and some shooting. And then 10 years later, I just found the old VHS tape and I put it in. And that is a trip down. Oh, wait. That's not okay. That's what? They're racist? What? No. It's like, so it kind of ruined the movie. I mean, it wasn't good to begin with. But
well, yeah, I saw it in like 1993 and haven't seen it since. So I don't really remember much about it, to be honest.
No,
I saw it a couple of years ago. Hadn't seen it before, and I mean, it is kind of fun when we take a step back and think, how much time did the fascists practice rollerblading in formation just to look cool?
yeah.
Because that can't be easy in a delta formation.
And you
like
know that is a movie trick. And the first time I saw it was in Smokey and the Bandit, right? Because they're in this desert. And they're chasing down the valley, and there is one trailer coming towards them, and like it's just one single trailer. What can that do? And then, of course, two trailers appear on the side of it because they were behind the first trailer, and then two more disappears. And it turns out it was like 100 trailers, and they just go out in a delta wing formation. And that's the same trick they used in Prayer of the Rollerboys. This one came like flying down and then they started like fanning out behind him, and very choreographed. So yeah, how much does criminal drug lords spend on choreograph to look cool? That's an interesting question, that.
Yeah. Modern criminals don't do that. I don't think that they did that in the 80s either, but yeah. Okay.
It's the aesthetics thing all over again, right? It's, I mean, like Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, like a skirt, a dress, a suit. I mean, criminals like they had style at some point. Today they don't have it, like saggy pants.
Oh, they have
sweatpants.
Like
sweaty pants. Yeah, sweatpants, and
that too.
sweaty sweatpants and like beanies and whatnot. I mean, there is no style anymore.
They're recruiting kids.
Yep, going around in their little Volkswagen Golfs with their pop exhausts because they think,
yeah,
they're so bad. Like, no, people just think you're a dick, actually, but whatever.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. I'm not a walking fashion statement myself. Maybe I should start wearing tweed vests in the workshop. And I mean, see, Joel Creates have this Russian hat, and I mean, a lot of YouTubers have what you call a uniform. Then, yeah, maybe I should go all British countryside, wellies and tweed vest, and that's going to be hot.
Double down, go full Tudor. Big rough, doublet and hose.
I was thinking about
sit
that.
on a log playing a little pipe.
I love the Blackadder series, and I double back to them every once in a while. And yeah, the series from the Tudor era with the huge round paper, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that in any shops. So I'm pretty sure you can find it on a niche online store.
You're a maker. Make one yourself.
3D print one.
That sounds comfortable.
I mean, I bought a cheap accordion. I just need to buy 5 more and glue them together. Voila!
You've answered your own question. Problem solved.
Yeah.
The Tudor maker.
Yeah, even need to change the channel name, but that was eerily catchy. That the Tudor maker.
The Tudor maker, absolutely. Woodworking and a hey nonny no.
Wasn't Tudor even a car brand? So you could go all in.
Is that batteries?
Tudor. There's Tudor watches. I know there's a watch brand called Tudor, but I don't know about a Tudor car.
It's not called shooter. I don't want it.
Well, I'm not interested.
Well, another thing I did was publish a video.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I tried to make a segue there with the Pewter soldiers, but yeah, we lost the thread. But
yeah, you were too interesting around it.
well,
yeah, I'm not sure that I'm happy with it. Someone said that when you're at the point where it's 50% acceptable, 25% debatable, and 25% miserable, then when it's done, it felt kind of like that. Because I mean, I didn't really have a clear goal for it when I started, or I had some kind of goal, but then I veered away from it rather heavily, and then it just devolved, and then ta-da, I'm finished, more or less. But it became a video at least.
If you ask me, it was too good. Because usually when I see a video, I get inspired and I would like to make one myself, or I would like to try that. Or when I saw your video, it's like, this is harder than I thought it was gonna be. So I'm not gonna. I'm not so into pewter casting now as I thought, because I thought that's surely easy. You just make a mold and voila, you have a nice piece. That wasn't quite the case.
No. Yeah, I used to be into it, but not so much anymore. No.
Oh, it was a lot harder than I thought it would be, but at least I got some pieces that turned out good. So it was a fun experiment. And I mean, why I started it now was that the casting silicone was about to expire, and it kind of felt it at the end that it wasn't really as good as it could have been. But yeah, now I tried it at least.
That's a question I have. What kind of silicone was it, and where do you get it? I've tried to Google a bit what kind of silicone you use for, and there is a lot of answers, and some of them are quite expensive. But that seems like a great size for some small test projects to try it for the first time.
Yeah, I think it was a liter tub. I think it cost about £60 or something like that. So it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't paying through the nose either. But it was heat resistant silicone or something like that it was called, made for pewter casting and other things. And it was easy to work with once you figure out how to actually work with it. And what amount of hardener you should put in and all of that. But yeah, it was fun to have it done, to get the workshop back, because at the end there it was a fair bit of pewter stuff all over the place. But when I was finished with the filming, my oldest kid took like half of it to put in his room because he thought it would look nice. Yeah, so he's filled his shelves with pewter now.
And then he's going to reenact Terminator 1 and 2 by making some stop motion video on your cooktop in the kitchen. Totally ruining that, of course, but it will look cool.
Yeah, good thing to have an induction hob. So I'm pretty sure that won't work on pewter.
Yeah, it's not magnetic as far as I know, but it's conductive, isn't it? So you could make a lot of cool things, but the problem is, could you get it to be interesting before it just melts because of the current and like blah, 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 and then it just breaks the
make
circuit
some kind of a pewter fuse.
Yeah,
make some fun toys which just happen to be plugged into the mains as well. This one's got a great feature. Go on, touch that. Go on.
But how cool is that then? Let's say you have, I mean, I realize this is already a thing called automatic fuses, but let's say you have a pewter fuse, but underneath it you have a ceramic bowl in the shape of that fuse. So once it melts and breaks the circuit, it just makes a puddle, and then it's a new fuse. You just pick it up and put it back in, and then it works like new. So it's like like an eternity fuse.
Yeah, you work on that. I'm sure there's something in there.
There's the beginnings of a sort of superhero franchise in there somewhere, you know, where the Tudor guy comes looking for the eternal fuse.
And
It
then, of
needs
course,
work.
you could make a video about that and be overly enthusiastic and I'm going to save the world, and then the wife just pops in with one of these automatic fuses and just slams it down and just watch that one for 3 seconds and then cut to black. That's the end of the video.
Yeah,
That's great plans.
could be. I am. Yeah, now that I'm saying it, I need to actually do it. I am planning to do a test of the pewter bolts that I made to see at what torque they die, and if I'll turn the head of them, or if a normal nut will just strip all the what's it called?
The threads.
The threads. Thank you. Yes. I'm pretty sure I will snap the head off, but I don't know.
Yes. Test it. Test the one. And then the remaining ones, you just put them back in that tray at the hardware store. The nickel plated or the ones with the
zinc coating on.
Yeah, the zinc coated one. Just put it in there and let someone else have the joy of discovering pewter.
Or, I mean, I'm not suggesting yet. All scenarios are provided for entertainment purposes only. If there's anyone you don't particularly like at work, maybe replace their hub nuts with pewter ones.
Oh, that would be a fantastic video. Just see how far will the car go
before the wheels fall off. Yeah. Beautiful.
I wish I had a spare car that was destined for something else. Because I mean, getting the sheared off bolts out of the
now that's easy. Just you need a blowtorch. You don't need much temperature to get the broken bolts out. That's the easiest part.
I'm not sure that it's easy, but yeah, sure.
Blowtorch it and you pour it into a ceramic bowl in the shape of a fuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything comes back to the fuse.
Sounds perfect.
God damn it. When we got the new bathroom, we also redid the fuse box because we needed to put in some separate electrical. What's it called? Couche, but on English.
Pass.
Like all right, if you have 10 fuses for 10 circuits and you need an additional circuit for something, what's that called in the circuit?
It's called call an electrician.
Yeah. Of course, that when they did that, they changed out the internals of our fuse cabinet with modern automatic fuses with earth fault detections and whatnot, so it's not proper up to date. But all the old fuses, they just threw them away because it was garbage. I should have gone up and just, I'll dispose of those for you, because then I would have, because I still have a box. I can't toss that away, of course. So I have that old box of those old fuses, the ceramic ones, and that one I can just make a cast out of, and then of course I can make the pewter fuses look like the old ones, and then I could make a dummy fuse cabinet. And I see a brilliant video in the future. I just need to acquire some old fuse cabinets.
Sounds like a photonic induction video.
Yeah, very much so.
I know. We're getting to it.
Someone's going to pick up that mantle.
But the problem is that would be in stark contrast with something surprisingly I've done this week. Shockingly, some would say. But that's for the half pint.
Oh, I'm sorry that you have to wait, dear listeners, but me and Phil doesn't. So let's just end the main episode here so we can hear what Haavard's about.
Yeah, before I forget, because there's a...
Yes, because that's a high chance of that.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
bye.
find quickly.
Bye.
Bye.